Most coaches are trying to build a better service, a better package, a better offer, better messaging, better sales page. And yes, those things are a part of your marketing. But here's what I think a lot of coaches are missing. Your business is not a service. It's an experience, and you should be turning it into a place people want to come back to over and over again. I'm going to share a business model with you that has 5 parts, and I will explain each part and give you some examples to help you turn your business into a place. People stay connected because the business becomes a place. It's a place where they go to when they need help. It's a place that they return to, a place that they trust, a place that they want to be a part of. It's a place that they tell someone about. That's very different from creating a service someone pays for once and moves on from. I call this place building. And most business advice for coaches is designed to build services that stack. So it might be you start with answering the questions of who do you help? What problem do you have? What outcome do you want? What is your offer? How do you sell it? And again, that's useful, and it's important for you to understand what those answers are for your marketing, but it's incomplete. Because a coaching business is not only built from a niche, a pain point, or an offer, it's also built from the experience around the offer. So think about it as the reason people enter your business, the reason people return. Why do they trust you? Why do they keep going? What's the reason that they might invite someone else in? That is what I call the place building model, because coaches who build something deeper than a service are not only asking, what am I selling? They're asking, what am I creating that people want to be a part of? There are 5 parts to this place building model, and you don't need to build all of them perfectly today. You don't need to burn everything to the ground and start over. But once you see them, you will start seeing what you're building very differently. So let's walk through the 5 parts. Part 1 is ritual. Ritual is the routine people return to. Every place people want to be a part of has some kind of routine, something that happens daily, weekly, monthly, something that gives them a reason to reconnect and says, come back here. This is where we do the work. A service is usually transactional. You buy this, get the result, move on. But a place has return points. And this matters because people are busy, distracted, they're overloaded, even isolated, and they're pulled in 1,000 different directions. If your business has no routine built in, people may like your work and still drift away. An example in my business, Elevated Mind, is my weekly coach planning call. It's free. It's every Monday. It takes 5 to 10 minutes, and you share what's on your plate, what you're going to work on this week, and that's it. Done. But it's really important. It's a routine. It's somewhere to return to every week. The question for you as you consider this for your business is, what reason do people have to come back next week? A service gives people something to buy, but a place gives people a reason to return. Part 2 is progress. Progress gives people a visible path. People need to be able to see, where am I at right now? Where am I going? What are the steps? What am I becoming more capable of handling? This is bigger than giving people more information. Information says, here's another thing to learn. Progress says, hey, here's how you're building capability and capacity. Capability is skill. Capacity is what they can hold, handle, or move through without spinning out every 5 minutes. And for a lot of people, that's crucial because the issue is not always lack of information. Sometimes the issue is not being able to see the path clearly enough to keep going. An example in my business, Elevated Mind, is the Solo Business Classroom. It's live monthly classes that help you to shore up the gaps in your business building skills. Do you need to know how to write stronger hooks? Do you need to know how to use AI to find your next strategy? Do you want my eyes on your next email campaign? You choose the classes that you want to attend. You set the pace. You don't have to figure out your whole business today. You just show up for the next class and you reach milestones. You see your progress. You see your capability and capacity increase. The classroom is not just a come watch more random classes. The deeper idea is that you're becoming more skilled as a business owner. And I want people to see that progression. So, as I said, there are milestones. Like if you attend 20 classes, you become a strategic business owner. And that point isn't to give you a cute badge, but it's to point out and show you the evidence that you are progressing. The question for you as you consider this part of the model for your business is, can people see where they are, where they're going, and what the next steps are? People don't just want more information. They want to see themselves becoming more capable. Part 3 is shared reality. And this is the honesty part. Every place people want to be a part of has some shared reality, a shared understanding of what's actually going on. And this is not about a polished pain point or making a very clean marketing sentence. The real experience, the one that we don't often talk about, is the shared reality. And it's the reason, for example, like recovery groups work so well. There's honesty, there's a shared language, a shared reality, and there's no pretending. There's less everything is fine when clearly everything is not fine. And no, your coaching business does not need to become a recovery group, but there is something to learn here. People trust places where the truth is allowed in the room, not in a let's all stay in the struggle forever way either, but in a way that says we can name what's actually happening here. For my people, the shared reality is often that you think that you need more information or a new strategy or better content or just to be more disciplined. But often the real issue is that you need help applying what you already know in the middle of a real week. I mean, a messy week in life, and not take every less than stellar result and make it mean something about you. That's the real thing. Not that I should just post more. It's the emotional weight of building a business solo, making decisions, sometimes getting crickets, right? Trying things, wondering if it means something terrible, then trying to pick yourself back up and keep going because that's honesty and it matters. In my mastermind, Happy and Successful, for example, part of the value is that it's a place where women can talk about the real experience of building a business without hype or glossing over or dismissing what the work actually feels like. That's a shared reality and it creates trust. The question for you and your business is, are you honestly naming the real experience your people are having? Is there an opportunity to talk about the shared reality? People trust places where the truth is allowed in the room. Part 4, small wins. Small wins give people evidence that they're moving because honestly, the big wins are too few and far between. This is different from progress. Progress is the path, but small wins are the moments along the path where people can say, I did the thing. I followed through and it was hard. I stayed with it. I took the next step. I made a sale. I may have a new client. These moments matter because confidence is built through evidence, not hype or just positive thinking, although that is important, but evidence. And in a coaching business, you want to create places where people can see and celebrate the evidence. So, for example, I have something called the Stay With It Planner. And inside that, people can ring the bell when they complete something. And when they ring the bell, anyone else who happens to be working in their planner at the moment may see that and can cheer them on. It's just this little tiny piece that keeps you going. It's simple, yes, but it's incredibly powerful and it's meaningful because sometimes you need a visible moment that says, I followed through. I did it. Again, this is not about making every small thing a big deal, but simply noticing. It's about helping people to notice that they're doing the work, they're building the skills, they're still here, they're staying with it, and they're not disappearing because last week was messy. You know, it can look like that you sent the email, you finally figured out how to create your email campaign, you made your offer, you followed through, you showed up, even if it was just a little bit during a difficult week. You stayed with your business and you didn't make the crickets that you received after your last post mean something negative about you. So the question for you as you consider this part for your business is, where can people see and celebrate the small wins that help them keep believing? Confidence is built through evidence, and small wins give people that evidence. Part 5, and the final part of place building, is identity. Identity is about creating a place where people can see themselves differently, not just I bought a coaching program or I hired a coach or I joined a membership, but more like, who am I becoming because I am a part of this? That's the deeper thing. The strongest places are not only what people get, they are about who people become. This is something that luxury brands understand very well. People are not only buying the product, they are buying what the product says about who they are. Now, we don't need to turn your coaching business into luxury handbags. No, let's not do that. But the identity piece matters because people want to feel like being in your world means something about them. For me, it's not so much about building up the hype of having this uber successful business. It's more about becoming a more capable business owner, or being the coach who follows through and has steady clients, or being the kind of person who knows that support is necessary in order to reach your goals. So it's that person who says, I'm not dabbling anymore, I'm building this. For example, in Happy and Successful, my mastermind, the identity is built right into the name. The point here is not just, here is some coaching sessions to show up for in this coaching package. It's more of, this is where I learn and become more capable. This is where I learn how to build. This is where I stop treating my business like a pile of random tasks and start seeing myself as the person leading it. The question for you as you consider this for your business is, what identity does your place invite people to step into? The strongest places are not only about what people get, they are about who people become. Now, let's pull this all together. So the 5 parts of place building are ritual, progress, shared reality, small wins, and identity. Ritual gives people a place to return to. Progress gives them a visible path. Shared reality gives them a reason to trust. Small wins give people evidence that they're moving, and identity gives people someone to become. Together, they create something much bigger than a service, much bigger than a simple coaching business. It creates a place that people enter, they return to, they grow inside of, they trust, and they invite other people to as well. Think of it as creating doors. Build doors in your business, build reasons for people to walk through them. A free call can be a door. A planner can be a door. A class can be a door. A conversation can be a door. A newsletter can be a door, right? But the door is not the whole thing. The real question is, what are people walking into? What is the experience? Are they walking into a service, or are they walking into a place? Now, if your coaching business feels like it's all selling and doesn't have the depth of meaning that you started it for in the first place, this may be why. You may have an offer and content and even a service, but it's kind of all over the place and doesn't have that cohesiveness. It doesn't have the place built around it. When it does have a place built around it, it gives your work somewhere to live and somewhere for people to return to, somewhere for people to belong to. So this week, don't try to rebuild your whole business. Don't burn it to the ground. Just look at it through these different lenses, these parts, and ask yourself, are you building a place? This is where you begin. Because you may not need a brand new offer. You just may need to build a stronger place around the work that you're already doing. Now, if you're building your business solo and you want a place to keep learning, applying, and building the actual skills of business ownership, that's what the Solo Business Classroom is for. You don't have to figure out your whole business right now. You just need to show up to the next class. I'm Michelle Sera, and if you're interested in the Solo Business Classroom, the link is below. If you've enjoyed this video, if sharing this model with you was helpful, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.